All right, Alex. Our first,
Ready?
our first live stream. How does it feel?
Good, good.
Uh,
I'm just going with the fact that there's no one watching, no one's. We're just you and I are just doing a team.
yeah,
End of story.
yeah. That's what we were planning actually. Just just you and me building our team, and one of us suggested let's do a live stream as well and see what happens basically. So you wanna just give a short introduction to like why we are doing this and maybe who you are, and I can give a few notes on myself as well.
Yeah, sure. So, for those of you that don't know, I'm Alex. I live in New Zealand. Been playing FPL for goodness, 11 or 12 years now, maybe a bit more, maybe 13.
Wow.
A fair few. I should have had that up ready, shouldn't I? That would have been a good starting point.
Uh-huh.
Can tell that we're not pros at this. And Rich and I did a Champman team together last year, and so we thought one of our teams would be a joint team. So we decided that rather than just pick it via WhatsApp, we would actually have a look at trying to do a live pick together, and then from there, Rich has decided that we could maybe stream it, and so we thought we'd try that. Yeah, so there we go. 7-8 was my first season. 7-8, and what are we in? So it's that 1, 2, 3. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. There you go. 13 seasons playing. So we thought we'd come and have a pick of a team and see what you guys thought of it, and if you had any input for us. What about you, Rich? Tell everyone about you.
How long have you been in New Zealand?
How long?
Yeah.
About 15, 16 years now. Yeah, 16 years.
Because you're originating from.
Oh yeah, I'm from. Good question, Rich. Good interviewing. So originally I'm from the UK. I'm from Sheffield. Hence my Sheffield Wednesday mug.
Oh, nice.
Which let's not talk about them right now.
Oh, no.
So that's our came out here a long time ago and missed the UK, missed football, but I won't be going back anytime soon.
No. Oh no, don't we'll not get started on the Corona thing. So just leave it at that. Yeah. So me, I'm Richard. You can find me at the Vinyl Richie at Twitter and everywhere else you usually go for social media. Living in Norway. Been doing so for the past 12 years. It's the fancy football mecca in the world, as everyone should know. And the reason for that is the Friday tacos, which has been quite established in the FPL community. There's something magical with those tacos, and it sets the brain gets working, and you come up with some crazy ideas. In our case, it's more crazy hits and stuff. Well, but others are quite good. Been playing FPL for I think this is my 10th season. Been doing decent a few years and not so good last year, and I think that's where it started for us. I remember it was during December last year, and Tammy Abraham got injured. And I put out a tweet on a Friday night. I was home alone watching some TV. The missus was out and either working or something, and the kids were in bed. And I put out a tweet, said, is it time for -12? And you messaged me, and I was thinking along the same ways. So since then, both our seasons just went downhill, basically.
Yeah, that wasn't our best decision ever. I'm not going to. People may want to switch off after hearing that.
But then came Champman, and we didn't actually manage to finish top 10. We were top 10 from game week 15 and dropped out in game week 38. So we finished 14th. But anyways. So we decided to do a joint team. And we thought we would try and build that team today and talk you through the thought process that we share. And to start that, we thought we'd share each our own teams So if you want to start, Alex, and I'll find your team right there, isn't it? Just talk us through the thought process, or
what's your team?
No, I don't have double Wolves at the back.
I'm on YouTube, and the picture up is your team.
Oh yeah. No, it's working on a 30-second lag or something. So yeah.
Ignore me. Right. Okay. Yeah. So
we're not technically gifted. We just put that out there.
We're learning as we go. Okay. So yeah, I've gone with a. At the minute, if you look down at the bench, you'll notice that I've actually got 4 players that are all players that aren't going to be playing game week 1. I'm not sold on that yet, but at the minute I was building my team around not wanting to make any transfers in game week 2 and trying to sort of get the players in that I wanted on the bench with a view to having maybe taken -4 in game week. Once I saved a transfer, getting Aubameyang out, probably getting KDB or Sterling in for him. But I wanted to have some Man United cover. I really like all 4. There's a case for all of them. My personal 2 favourites are Martial and Rashford. I think Rashford may be injured, so we'll find out a little bit more about that. So I've gone with Martial for the minute, and I'm sort of, when the actual team is, as in City and United are playing, it'll be more of a standard 3-4-3. As you can see, there's Ungasia, who is the Fulham 4.5 player, actually starting for me. So there's a chance he's not even going to be in the team, that he may not even play. So it's a bit of a weak game week 1 team, but it's the idea being that I'm not going to have to make any transfers in the second week to get Man United players in. So if we start at the back, I've gone with McCarthy. I think he's the best 4.5. I think the Saints have got reasonably good statistics from the end of last season. Alexander-Arnold, I'm not going to go there. Saliba for Arsenal, I just think if he plays, I think he's a great option. I really do. I think Arsenal will tighten up, and I think for their first 2 fixtures, I'm sort of happy to take a chance there that he will. But again, we'll see with the Community Shield. He could change to Justin from Leicester, or even... I know Matt's watching, or was watching, his favourite rotation, which is involving Aston Villa as well, who have got some good statistics. So, like I said, there's a few other 4.5s that could jump in there. Vinagre as well, but we'll have to wait and see what happens, whether he looks like he'll still be starting. And obviously Doherty will be going to Spurs by the looks of it, so I'm not sold there. So that defence could, apart from Alexander-Arnold, could completely change. I think Taylor will stay, even though he doesn't play in game week 1. I think 4.5 is a great option for him. Richie, 5 million. I was watching a stream on Scout yesterday, and it was one of the guys mentioned it on that, and I thought it was actually a really nice pick. He could well be playing as one of the front 3 if they sign this left back, and he's only 5 million. So I'm kind of like happy to take the punt there, with the sort of more favourable Souček not actually having particularly favourable fixtures beyond game week 1. So I thought, well, I'll try with him, because I will want that spot to be starting for the next foreseeable future. Salah, definitely going to have, because I'm definitely going to be captaining him game week 1. Keep him for game week 2, and then sort of make a decision there after that. But at the minute, I foresee me holding him. Aubameyang will be going after 2 game weeks for one of the City boys for sure. And then obviously Werner, I think is a great option. I think he will be. Chelsea will be the underpriced team of the season. It's just choosing which one it will be. So for me, right now, the price point makes sense for Werner there. I quite like that option there. It could be that if Pulisic starts the season, I could reduce Werner down and put Pulisic in midfield and go into a sort of 3-5-2 formation. And Mitrovic, well, that's a bit of a sentimental pick for me. My uncle died recently, which has hit me quite hard over here, and I've sort of made a sort of to make in always cheating style, make fantasy football fun again. I'm always going to be. My uncle was a big Fulham fan. My uncle and I went down to see Fulham play in the Europa Cup final against Hamburg. We were also at the Juventus game when they came back from 4-1 down and won 5-4 on the night. So I've got some really fond memories, and I've made a decision that I'm going to have a Fulham player all the way through the season in my team, regardless of how they play. So at the minute, Mitrovic is that player. I also think on penalties, very kind run of fixtures after Arsenal, he could be a really good option at 6 million. So I'm happy to go with that. And then I've gone Foden and Martial on the bench. I think Martial is showing us what he can do now towards the end of last season, and I think he's a great option within Man United. Foden I'm not sold on yet, but I think he could be just play him, accept the fact you're going to get a couple of 1-pointers and 2-pointers, and then hopefully around that you get a couple of braces and you just stick him in and keep him there for the sort of season. So I'm not sold on that player yet. So gives a bit of an overview on that. I'll just, so I don't know if you want to touch on your own team now.
Yeah.
Rich?
I think we'll just leave it at that, yeah. And I'll give you a few points on mine. And I think sort of the same setup with the like everyone else probably will have. I mean, the first thing we need to establish is an early wild card or game week 2 or 3 transfers, etc. But I have the same basic idea of having a few premiums that I'll eventually transfer out come game week 3. So everyone can see I have 3 Spurs players there, and I may have, if the season would have started with Manchester teams in the game week 1, I most definitely wouldn't have had at least 2 Spurs attackers. And they did pick up by the end of the last season, but in general they were quite underwhelming, I would say. So just start from the back. I have Johnstone, the West Brom keeper. I mean, he could easily be any of the 4 or 5 keepers. I have to dig a bit deeper into like stats and fixtures, but I like his like penalty save record, and I know that's just more or less a fluke. But I mean, was it like 6 penalty saves in the last 4 or 5 seasons or something? I mean, that should count for something. And then obviously Alexander-Arnold, we don't need to go there as well. I've gone for Robertson. I've had a tinker with the triple Liverpool defense actually, and had Van Dijk in there as well as Doherty. But the rest of the team doesn't allow it, unfortunately. I did tinker a lot with a 4-5-1 setup with Werner as the only striker. But then I realized Kane and Aguero and their potential at the price is just too huge to ignore, I think. And again, as you said about the price points, you can easily switch to basically from them two, you can switch to any forward in the game. And also you have Fernandes at the same price as well in midfield eventually. So I've gone for Dyer as well. James from Planet FPL, I've been talking him up, comparing him to Phil Jones of 3 years ago, was it? Where United was very good defensively and he racked up all the bonus points. So in comparing the same playing style with a lot of completed passes as well. Then obviously Johnson, the 4.0 defender for me. Again, he can be switched to anyone. I think Mitchell at Palace seems to be the name of the FPL community at the moment. So we'll have to keep an eye on the friendlies coming up to see who that will be. Aubameyang, he is an auto pick from game week 1 for me. Also like a captain as well. He has decent stats playing away as well as playing at home. And I'm picking him over Salah because I think the 2 fixtures that I'll keep him for are better than Salah's fixtures actually. I know they scored 5 against Chelsea the last time, but we're building a team now in Chelsea. Even if you don't know, I'm a Chelsea fan, yeah. So
they're going to be good as well.
Yeah, well, attacking wise at least, but we're expecting Thiago Silva to be a completed transfer tomorrow, so that
stick as well.
Sorry?
Is he bringing his walking stick?
With that?
What? He's about 50, isn't he now?
Oh yeah. Well, he's better than everyone else in our defense. So.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But no, I think the leadership and the experience he'll bring will do lots for the young defense that has talents, I think. But yeah, we lack that. Grab you by the arms and just shake you up a bit. And
I'm on the season. I think it'll be a great signing alongside Chilwell from Leicester as well. I think. Yeah, that's it's starting to really shape up. Just need a new keeper now.
Well, yeah, maybe with the defense, he doesn't concede too many shots. So
that's true.
Yeah,
let's go with that.
Yeah,
let's go.
Terrible stats. Well, Son as well I've picked, and again he's a placeholder for. My initial plan now is to take out the Aubameyang and Son for again one of the City boys and Fernandes. So at the moment I have 1 million in the bank to do that exact move at that exact price. So we'll see how the price changes. Will price me in or out of different moves. And I have Souček and the 5.0 flavor of the day guy who scored actually at the weekend or whenever they played the friendly. So like you said, with the fixtures, it's not great, but hopefully he won't be a regular starter in my team. And if you can play him in like the first game against Newcastle at home, and then they have a couple of good, decent fixtures in the first like 7 game weeks. But other than that, I hope to play him, sit him on the bench. And Werner, I think you pretty much nailed it as well. The attack for Chelsea looks amazing with the signings that we're getting, and we were quite fluid at times last year as well, and with the additions now it can only get better, I think. Yeah. And bench is just button is button. Davis the 4.5. We were hoping that Brewster may get a Sheffield United switch, but rumors today says he's staying at Liverpool.
Yeah. Hey, with all this COVID cancellations, are you worried about having a non-playing bench as effectively as it may? I know you've got Taylor there, but you've got Johnson in, who we don't know is going to start. You've got a non-playing goalkeeper. I tell you what we could potentially do is actually, should we switch to our joint team, and then because we can start having that conversation around the team we're going to potentially put together.
That sounds good. Yeah. So here we are with our own team. With our joint team, I should say. First thing that we need to establish was mentioned as well at early wildcard, or do like a free hit team for game week 1 or 2, or should we plan ahead for a few moves?
I'm game for planning ahead if you are.
Yeah, that's basing on our own descriptions of our teams, I think that's where we're heading.
I agree. Yeah. So let's build for a sort of slightly longer stint.
Yeah.
Shall we start with keepers?
Yeah.
They're the boring spot. Yeah. Now, one thing I'm up for trying, if you are, is actually having two rotating keepers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just thinking that COVID. It's something if I can find 0.5, I might actually do that myself.
You make a good point there, I think. So I've been toying with the same idea, but that 5.5 is just so valuable. It's hard.
No, I hear you. Now, if we go, I'm just looking. Now, if we go right, I think Ryan and McCarthy have quite a good rotation, don't they?
Yeah. Do they have the home away rotation, being South Coast teams?
Oh, is that what it is? I'll get them up now. Hang on.
I can. Not necessarily like Chelsea, Fulham, local teams. They do the rotation, and a few like Manchester teams, Liverpool, Everton.
If you can you put it up on? Yeah, good. Yeah, I was trying to find it on my phone, but actually that'd be quite cool if you put it on there.
So this is the members area of Fantasy Football Scout. Highly recommended. Should also say we're both subscribers to Football Hub as well, aren't we? Yeah.
Like the Scout and like Hub, both very good.
Yeah. So highly recommend both of them. And they have a feature here actually where you can find the optimum rotation with that team. So if you click Brighton, sort by rotation.
Well, Southampton, yeah. So going for the cheaper one. Southampton are the first cheap keeper that go with, weren't they? So that would be Crystal Palace away. Then you would have Newcastle away,
Burnley away, West Brom
Burnley away.
At home.
Yeah, West Brom home.
Palace away.
Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does for me. Yeah, lob them in, stick them in.
Easy decision.
Easy decision.
Yes. And the first spot goes to Trent.
Yeah, definitely.
There.
Yeah. Then
it becomes quite interesting. Should we do the premiums first, actually, to see?
Yeah, good idea. We're going to have a problem here because you don't like Salah, and I do like Salah. So what are we doing there?
I like the Aubameyang Salah. I think we should go for safe options. Play the long game and a safe game, all boring as that may seem. I think it's a sensible approach.
Yeah.
With all the uncertainty, like you say, with COVID and who's playing and lots of new faces in the league and lots of uncertainties at the moment. So.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm with you there.
So then, should we go to forwards? Like, are we going for a premium forward?
Yeah.
Now, being a Chelsea fan, you're going to want some Chelsea coverage in there.
Yeah.
So, who are we doing?
We both picked the man.
Yeah, I kind of was thinking that. We both went there, didn't we? So.
And like you said, I think like last year, actually, Chelsea may be the most underpriced team in the entire league. And I mean, if they click, Werner could easily go for a 25-goal season, like 5-10 assists, or So there's great potential there, definitely.
Yeah.
So.
So do you want to? Okay, so we got. Now, I guess the big next point now is that we go right. Well, let's put Mitrovic in because I want my Fulham player in there. We've both got Mitrovic, so he's in. And then are we going to go 3-5-2, or are we going to go? I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? It's just about the players we want.
Yeah.
What's our next call? Let's have a look at another. Are we going to go all 4.5s, or are we going to stick another? Oh, I tell you who I do like that you've got, and I'm very tempted by it, is Dyer. So let's stick Dyer in. I like that. I like your shout on him. I think he could be a bonus point magnet.
Yeah.
I think he'll have the odd free kick. I think he'll have the odd header, and their fixtures are really nice.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's why I went triple up, which seems crazy, but I mean they have the best run.
Well, rumours that they might be signing Suarez today. So imagine that. Imagine if we've got to get Suarez and Messi in our teams. Jeez. It's going to be the nightmare season from a fantasy perspective, trying to get all these big hitters in.
Yep.
Is that's Spurs, is it?
Yeah, that's Spurs. So opening 8. It's doesn't get any much better than that, really. So you can stick him in, play every game for 5 million. It's a decent price.
What about him versus Doherty?
Yeah, that's the thing. I was thinking about it from a tactical perspective. Like the Aurier, he's playing very wide.
Yeah.
Like Ben Davies on the opposite side usually tucks into a back 3, while Aurier just roams freely up and down his side. And whilst Doherty in Wolverhampton, he often comes into the box more, if you know what I mean. Is it just me, or he doesn't seem to play as wide in Wolverhampton as Aurier does for Spurs? So I'm just thinking, how will they fit him in the tactical aspect of it all?
Yep, no, I agree. It may be a watch and see, so maybe go with the £1 million cheaper who looks likely to start.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And again, credit to James from Planet FPL who's been shouting him, although he's not including him in his own team, but yeah.
Now I'm going to give a shout out. let's just stay with defenders. I'm going to give a shout out to. There's lots of good threads going around, but I saw FPL Swede.
Yes.
Nice thread. I'm just finding it now on Twitter. Did a nice thread on rotating. On rotating 4.5 defenders, which I threw up some nice options here. We have budget defender rotation. Yeah. So it's FPL _Swede, SWE. So Matt, if you're in the chat, I'm really sorry. Matt's been well, no, he hasn't. Matt's been quite quiet about this rotation for a long time. He really likes it, but it comes out really nicely. So this is Aston Villa and Leicester. So this will be Matt Targett and James Justin. Now, obviously, Targett doesn't play game week 1. And actually, Aston Villa towards the end of the season looked really far more solid at the back. And I actually think that this season, my gut feel is they'll lead off with that similar type of approach where they'll be a little bit tighter. But if we go with them, this is their fixture run, rotating between Villa and Leicester. West Brom away, Burnley home, Fulham away, West Ham home, Aston Villa home, Leeds away, Wolves home, Brighton home, Fulham home, Newcastle home, Brighton home, Burnley home, West Brom away, Crystal Palace home, Crystal Palace away. And that's obviously James Justin's a bit of a risk because James Justin's the one that's covering for Pereira, isn't it? So if Pereira comes back, Justin could lose his space. But then now
Chilwell is gone as well.
Gone. That opens up. Thomas, that's right. Yeah. So we could go either of those two. Maybe stick with stick Thomas in.
Thomas?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Oh yeah.
Let's go with that. And then just see what happens pre-season.
Yeah.
So that leaves us
very much subject to change, just to put it out there as well.
Yeah. So then we need, depending on what, should we leave that last spot? Because if we're kind of talking about what we were doing before, if we're banking on, if we're going to bench a United player, which I think we're both in agreement, we'd bench a United player and then bring a City player in later on, just purely because of the fixtures. That could work out quite, and then for Aubameyang, bring in one of the City midfielders. Yeah, so then we may need that spot for a playing one. So that might mean that we have to get another 4.5 in. So that could be Stevie or someone like that. So let's leave it and see how much money we've got after we've done the rest of them.
Yes, good thinking. So
all right.
We'll move into midfield then. So we have the two premiums, Aubameyang and Salah already.
Yeah. So Harry in the chat has said, just been chatting away about a few defenders. He says, it's tricky with Doherty's move. I would be tempted to get a Spurs defender instead for those good fixtures, say Dyer or Davies. Then Foden becomes Greenwood and Martial becomes Jimenez Ings. So this is referring back to my team, but I actually think that's a really interesting point. So going on the fact that if we don't have Doherty, we can save $1 million, or I could personally save $1 million with going with Dyer and then upgrade Foden to Greenwood, which I like that actually.
He's basically describing my team, so I'll have to agree with that.
Let's do something similar. We've done that with ours, or let's leave that last spot.
So, I agree with Greenwood.
Right.
I mean, the reason to go with Greenwood is obviously his price.
Yep. I'd still like another United player in there, though. Like, that's the only thing, is I don't really want to go with Greenwood as our only cover. But let's see how we end up with our other players, I guess.
Yeah.
So Paolo is.
What do you think about Fernandes, actually?
His team, yeah, that's always a good thing. Don't drink an FPL.
Sorry, yeah. Good thing, Paul. So on another United asset as well, what do you think about Fernandes for this season?
Oh, I love him. I think he's a great player, but I just don't know if he's worth $1 million over Rashford, $1 million over Rashford, or $1.5 million over Martial. Now, if Rashford's injured, which it sounds like, I haven't really caught up on the news today, but it sounds like he could be, then that makes it a little trickier. But I mean, I'd be happy to go with him. But if we go with Bruno, we're probably not going to be able to afford Greenwood.
No.
Well, let's stick Greenwood in there because it'll be interesting. I haven't had any of my drafts, so let's try and make it a bit different. Let's go Bruno. Take Greenwood out and see what we can afford with the rest of them.
All right. I do like him for a set and forget spot in midfield, more or less. I mean, there's always talk of rotating the midfield to fit in your captain basically every week. And try and figure out the schedule and work your way around those with your transfers. But I mean, that's a scary tactic as well, because you'll be transferring out points each and every week, maybe, basically. That's my thinking. I mean, you're selling a premium asset is always risky, but obviously it can pay off as well. So what? Where are we now? Just we're 19.5 million left for 4 spots, so that makes 4 or 5 million on average for each spot left. So what? Who have you got a player you particularly like? Okay, well, we probably need a 5 million mid in there. Would you say? Yeah. Well, first, I think just put Brewster in there for a 4.5. Okay. I think are we agreeing on 2 up front, or? I'm like I said, I'm flexible with this. I'm on 3-4-3 at the minute with Martial, and then we've got Fernando. So let's go Brewster. Yeah, that's cool. Happy with that. See where we end up from this. So we have 15 million again, from 5 spots. But we need to. We're playing a midfield. We're playing 5 or 4 at the back. So I reckon we either need to go for a 4.5 or 5 million defender if we're going to go 4 at the back. Who's a good mid-price defender? Egan. So I mean, for this game week 1 we need. You get the obviously blanking and 3, 4. And we need a playing 4.5 there. I was thinking Taylor, but he's obviously not available. True. It would be nice to have that Burnley coverage, but we might need them. Well, can you put the fixtures up again? The fixture ticker. Yep. So, click Leicester, sort by difficulty. Fulham actually have a nice run, but they're pretty poor, to be honest. I'm not sure we trust them though, do we? That's the only problem. No. And then Sheffield United second. Yeah. But again, do we trust them with the Ramsdale in goal instead of Henderson? Then we got the next few down. We don't want to go double up Southampton. No. Ben is shouting Peters as well, but we have to. We can only have 1 ranking defender in game week 1, I think. I was chatting to Ross or FPL on Twitter about Peters. Actually, someone made a good point that because he shouted Peters thinking that he might start in midfield, which I thought was a great shout, 4.5. Then someone else said that they didn't think they listed the 4 midfielders. And he wasn't going to be one of them, so it looks like that Peters may not start. I'm not a Burnley expert, but I don't know if Ben knows anything about it. But if Ben, if you know something about it, shout out in the chat, and we'll have a talk, because I'd be well up for Peters. Yeah, he did end up in the wing a few times by the end of last season. Yeah, he got a couple of assists, didn't he, in the last? I mean, I have to say as well, I don't know Burnley that well as well, but if there were injuries or what was the reason why. So if Ben knows more about it, please shout out. See, Newcastle don't have a bad fixture run. I mean, like Jermaine Lascelles. Yeah. Or it's whether we need that, because we kind of want someone we can just stick in there and lead, don't we? So. Let's stick Egan in for now. Let's stick Egan in, and then just if we need that 0.5, we'll go down to a 4.5 maybe from Newcastle. Yeah. Sheffield United, that would be quite a differential. I mean, if they come close to what they did last season, it'll be quite good.
But it's a nice defence, that, because I mean, effectively, Alexander-Arnold, Dyer, and Egan start all the games.
Yeah, and rotate
These two rotate for our fourth spot. Then we've got Salah, Aubameyang, Fernandes. Well, Fernandes from game week 2 on will start every game, and then obviously Aubameyang will become KDB or Sterling.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I'm liking this team. I might just switch this for my own team.
Yeah, it's starting to look quite good. And we still have 5 million left. 4.5 and a 5.5.
Yeah. I like it. Or do we need? Or we could go, if we're going, we could go 4.5, and then what would that give us? If we went 4.5, that would give us a 5.5. Or if we went 2 4.5s, although that's risky.
Yeah. What are you thinking? Oh yeah, with a Brewster pick.
Yeah, I'm just thinking we could upgrade there a little bit and actually go, I don't know, 4-3. But yeah, there seems, the other thing as well, we haven't got any Spurs attack. Do we want to leave $1.5 million in the bank and put Son in, for example, for the first game and then commit to changing, or do we to Fernandes, or do we want to just start with Fernandes, or leave him in now, because that's always a placeholder. We could always.
Yeah, because my point is, I want the Man United attacker against Palace. I'm thinking Palace could go down this year.
Yeah.
By the end of last season, they were just horrible.
So Ben's asked a question in the chat. He says, thoughts on Souček and Kane. So let's go with Souček first, because obviously that's a position we're potentially going to be looking at now. You've got Souček in. He scored the other day. He's got an awesome record at the end of last season. He's got an awesome record in the previous season. But it's just those fixtures. So then it's, do you just leave him in the whole time and acknowledge you're going to get 2 point, 2 point, 2 point, and then a 7, 8, 9, 10 points, and then you've got him in place for the nice fixtures? Or do you have him as a bench player, or do you go for someone like, who did I pick from Newcastle? Forgot his name. Matt Ritchie, who's fine as well, could potentially playing further forward for them. So what do you reckon on that?
Yeah, that's it's a tough one. I mean, they are 5 million for a reason. None of them are actually a great pick, but it's all about value at that point, isn't it? Yeah. So, Souček, just putting their fixtures up. So up against I'll get to game week 8. They play Newcastle at home, Arsenal away, Wolves at home, Leicester away, Tottenham away, City at home, Liverpool away, and then Fulham at home. So I mean,
Souček's the type of person that, he's just awesome in the air.
Yeah.
So does it really? So I don't know. Kind of part of me is like, I don't know if it actually matters about the fixtures, and actually, if Wolves lose Doherty like they look like they're going to, they're not going to have the other wing back starting. So all of a sudden, their back four is going to. I know they're still going to have the 2 centre backs who are very good.
Yeah.
But they could easily concede there. Arsenal have been a little bit leaky at times, or they do, certainly under Arteta, have tightened up a bit. Yeah. Leicester are a much changed defensive team. Although game week 4 they'll have what's his name back, the Irish guy.
Leicester. I had him for the red card.
Yes, you did. -4.
Yeah,
I remember.
Yeah. Johnny Evans.
Johnny Evans. Yeah. There you go. I mean, look. All I'm saying is, I guess, like you say, for 5 million, you go with him or Ritchie. I don't think they're a bad option. I'd almost be tempted just to start them and just go with the facts. So stick Souček in for now.
I think so.
And the other part of Ben's question was Kane. I like Kane. I really do. I'm not sure if I like Kane against, say, Werner or Martial, who are cheaper. That's the tough thing. So whether you go Kane for a week and then drop down to Martial, I don't think that's a bad option. But then you're spending an extra. Is it $1.5 million? Kane's 10.5, isn't he? To 9 for Martial. Mm-hmm. Then you've got to find for your game week 1 team. So that's tough. I wouldn't. I know you've got Kane. So what do you reckon on him?
Yeah, obviously I have Kane in my team at the moment, and that's more or less a placeholder for Aguero when he's fit.
Yeah.
Again, the best player in fantasy history, maybe, and at 10.5 million. But we're talking about Kane again. The fixtures for Tottenham is it's the best you'll have for the first 8 game weeks. Yeah. And I think he's at the price where you don't have to captain him. I think that's what probably put people off. We've all experienced bad captaincies from Harry Kane because I wouldn't say he's inconsistent, but he's unpredictable in his hauls.
Yeah.
I mean, he can easily just haul against Man United away, and then blank against West Ham at home, and then another couple against Burnley away. I mean, it's that unpredictability. But if you stick him in for, over this 8-game period, I think he'll give you quite a few hauls. But you wouldn't put an armband on him, if you know what I mean.
No, absolutely. So Philip has said, don't you think having placeholders for Martial and Greenwood wouldn't be better and target Crystal Palace by having Ings game week 1? Yep, that's a fair shout. He also said it could be worth a -4 to get 2 Man United in and still have a strong game week 1, 11. And then, and he reminded us who the player was. Thanks, Johnny Evans. So I totally get what Philip's saying there. I think it's I'm seeing a lot of people doing that. Really chasing the upside of targeting Crystal Palace, who we've just said earlier the reason we're trying to have Man United. My only concern is I don't know that I've got the self-control to go, like, if say Ings scores a goal or two in the first game and looks brilliant, I don't know if I'm going to be able to sell him for, like, I don't know if I've got that self-control to sell. Same with the Spurs players. That's my thing that I'm really struggling with. Like, logically, I think it makes. I couldn't argue with anyone for doing it, but I just don't know for myself if I would have that self-control to do it. And I quite like almost just taking game week 1 on the chin, acknowledging you're probably not, especially if Spurs go, do score 3 or 4, and a lot of people have them, you're going to have a particularly bad week. But I don't know. I quite like the fact that you're in your game week 2, you're sorted with a player or two off your bench, and then you can kind of build from there. So, I don't know if that answers the question, Philip. I'm kind of on the fence. What do you reckon?
Yeah. On that point, I've had the exact same fear. Game week 3, Spurs, they play Newcastle at home. I mean, as a attacking fixture, we obviously don't know how Newcastle will look this season, but when the takeover didn't happen, and there's so much uncertainty in the whole club, so we're not sure how they'll respond to all this. But my point is that it would mean selling Son and Kane possibly ahead of Newcastle at home. So I get your point about that, and but it would be for in my case Bruno, who then have Brighton away, and then he will be like a set and forget for the next 10 game weeks or so.
But imagine if Brighton imagine Brighton start off quite well and they've conceded, 1 goal over their 2 games. They've looked pretty solid at the back. Yeah. Then you sat there, do I want, and say Kane scored a goal or so, or Son, whoever it is you've got in, or scored a goal or so. That's my dilemma. I'm going to sit there going, I'll leave it another week and and then Bruno scores a couple of goals and I'm going to be kicking myself. But like I said, I'm preempting the internal dilemmas I'll be going through if I don't just start with a Man U player. And
I'm actually hearing what you're saying. I'm fearing my players would score a lot of points.
No. It's absolutely ridiculous, the argument I'm making. It makes no sense. Philip's point about just you go with the players you think are going to score the most, and then it costs you a -4 game week 2 to bring them in. Well, you've made those -4s because your players have scored points, and it's a nice dilemma to have. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. I'm kind of trying to think the long game with me, and I'm just not 100% certain on how much I trust Spurs just yet. So I don't know. It's a tough call. It'll go to the wire for me. I'm not saying I don't think either way is right or wrong. I think you've just got to go with. I think a couple of people have said it, and it's the one point I agree with. Make a plan and stick to it. So if you've got Son in and you plan to bring Bruno in or someone else in game week 2, just do it. And stick to your plan. Of course, unless he gets injured or something like that. Yeah. But I quite like that. That for me is the thing. Stick to your plan.
Yeah, totally agree. Yeah, and on Spurs as well, I do consider it a gamble to go obviously with the double attack as well. and you never know which one will show up. And I don't think we'll get lots games where they will score more than 2 goals. And then you're banking on Son and Kane to be involved. I mean, it's quite a hefty task to ask of them, but it's a gamble worth taking as well. But I can also see not going that route as well. So,
how much have we last spot?
Sorry?
How much have we got for that last spot?
Yeah, so we have 5 million now.
For that, oh, okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So the question is, do we go 4.5, leave the 5.5 in the bank? Do we use this final 5.5 or double up with Richie?
Yeah, I mean, well, doubling up with Richie's not a. I don't hate that. You know, you kind of have the 2 5 millions, and then you just. Yeah, I don't. Obviously, the Richie one is reliant on them signing a left back, because I think if they don't, he will play the left back, and I don't think he becomes a viable option then. No. But I think if they do, and they're rumoured to be signing a Greek left back for 4 or 5 million. So if that's the case, and then that actually gives you quite, because we've only got one on a target as well, so we'd have 2 bench players that aren't playing, so we'd actually be able to bench. I don't know who we'd bench. Oh no, we wouldn't. Sorry,
Brewster. Yeah,
we'd have Brewster on the bench.
4.5 striker, whoever that way. Maybe if Brewster doesn't go, we won't have a Liverpool spot in the 4.5 forward. That's for sure.
Yeah. So you could do that, and then of course it just comes down to the dilemma of whether you leave Fernandes in there or you make him into Son. Yeah. So yeah, I quite like that as a start. So Pete, what have we got in the chat?
Yeah.
Phillips just confirmed the transfers at the game kicked off. Sold.
Yeah.
Pete says, I had Salah, Uber and Bruno in. Didn't like the team. Yep, that's fair enough. I mean, it's a lot of money you're spending on 3 players, and especially when we've got Werner in as well at 9.5 and Alexander Arnold at 7.5. It does make it tough to get the rest.
And knowing Pete, he wants the perfect team as well. The perfect Pete from the Champman. So shout out to him, who did very well.
Yeah, good on you, mate.
Yeah.
Well, I think it comes back to you. You know, you're not. You know, your other team. You've gone with no Salah.
Yeah.
Spread the funds. You know.
Yeah. No, I'm all for Salah. I've just made a conscious decision, and I probably won't own Salah. That's subject to change, obviously, but. I do see the value in the Liverpool defense instead, and I can see myself actually captaining Alexander Arnold this season.
Yeah, that's fair.
So if they have these plum fixtures at home and none of the other premium has, I mean, the equivalent fixture or something, then Trent can easily see. I mean, clean sheet and 1 attacking return, and you're on for 12 points plus. And that's.
I think the other thing that's nice. I know you haven't got it at the minute, but if you can get double, like if you can get Robbo as well, I think that gives you, because I mean, a lot of the engaged managers will have Alexander Arnold, so it's almost, you know, you do wonder if it's going to, how much, you know, you don't really care if he scores or not, because it's not really going to move you that much. Whereas if you went with both and they both get a clean sheet and an assist, or one gets an assist and they both get a clean sheet and bonus points, all of a sudden you've got a massive differential over Alexander Arnold, which is, you know, but of course we're assuming that Salah doesn't do.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah. Can you confirm the team just to see what it looks like?
Yeah. Oh, team name.
Oh, you had it, didn't you?
From Champman.
Yeah, you'd come up. I think I'll just go with Champman, didn't you? Come on. Yeah, we'll go with Champman.
Yeah. Favorite club? That's obviously Fulham.
Fulham for my uncle.
Yes. Right. Oh, we're on a laptop now. We can actually just do this. Ooh, no, we can't. Okay. Richie, and we have Egan in. Right?
Yeah.
4-4-2. Salah captain. Oba captain.
Yeah. Switch the keepers.
Oh yeah.
We can now because we're rotating keepers.
Yeah. Deadline in 5 minutes. This would be our team.
See, that looks all right. That really does look okay.
Yeah, I mean, even as a game week 1 team,
Yeah,
we could do all right.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It's just that midfield, isn't it? You're going with Richie, Souček, which we've already acknowledged that potentially, what's the ceiling on those? It's not huge. So,
no, but we can. I mean, we have a decent rotation now with Thomas and Target.
Yeah.
Is there another possibility with the? Is there another 5 million player or 4.5 million player who actually can rotate pretty decently with Richie or Souček?
Yeah. And I don't think there's many 4.5 mids that are actually look even likely to start, is there?
That's the like Oriol Romeo or something, but he just picks up yellow cards.
You're not starting one of those, do you? I'd rather start.
So Newcastle again, they rotate with Sheffield United. There's this guy called John Lundstrom who plays.
Or there's another 5 million guy, the one that's on some set pieces, isn't there?
From Southampton? No. Who do you talk about?
Sheffield United. I can't think what his name is. He's not a great attacking option, but he might get the odd, trickle in with the odd.
Oh, Norwood?
Oh, how much is Fleck? I can't see his price on my screen.
Fleck is 6, and as Philip as well as pointing out, he's again helping us out with the Evans earlier. Now Norwood at 5 million.
Yeah, Norwood.
That's
I don't know.
About, yeah.
I think I'd rather stick with Souček, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just think I think he's got more of an upside than Norwood has. But Norwood was the one I was thinking of.
Yeah. Yeah, it's also, I mean, Souček is the goal scorer out of the two, and Norwood is the provider. And who will he provide for in Sheffield United? Looking at their front line, their forward options in the game, like McBurney, Mousset, McGoldrick, Sharp, Callum Robinson.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Lights now. I mean, who will go for McBurney over Mitrovic?
Yeah, well, see, I'm not. I think again, it's that. All the things we've talked about, why I'd rather take a punt on Mitrovic, or and the thing is, there's we haven't talked about Ings, who's another great option, and their fixtures are really good. We've only got McCarthy from Saints, and there's a couple of midfielders. Whether you go Ward-Prowse for them or Armstrong, who I also really like. Philip's saying the same. Souček can get a header in a bad fixture off a set piece. Ben is shit. That is team. Maybe that's Ben's team. Trent, Peters, Vinagre, Uber. Vinagre is another option. I mean, he 4.5 could be one of those players. So that he could sit in that Egan slot.
Yeah. An upgrade to 5.5 at the richest spot possibly.
Yeah, he can sort of give us a bit more money to put into midfield, and you could even potentially go. If you went Egan down to Vinagre and then. Another 4.5 midfielder that sits on your bench, we could potentially put Souček up to, what would that give us, a 6 million? I don't know if there's any 6 million. James Ward-Prowse, maybe?
Yeah, but I like there are a couple of 5.5s. I mean, St. Maximin and Armstrong, as you say.
I like Armstrong. Lucy Hignett, who's a big Saints fan, did a good trade on relevant Southampton. Well worth a read if you get the chance. And
I did see it actually, yeah. So,
it's the rotation that's a bit of a worry. He doesn't seem to play 90 that often, so.
No. And Vinagre as well is subject to the potential buy of another left back.
Yeah.
Sign him. He's non-option, unfortunately. But yeah.
I the other thing, just thinking on strikers, I'm just thinking about Jimenez. I wonder if with all the Doherty out and Doherty sold and Johnny injured, I just wonder is he going to have the supplies? I haven't looked into the research about how many assists he gets from those two. I know that that's potentially going to just dent his attacking output a little bit.
Yeah, and I was a bit surprised. I think it was who got the assist. They are quite a stats-based podcast. I think it was them who presented his shot volume stats.
Yeah.
And he was second in the league, I think, for shots in general, shots in the box. So it does come to a lot of chances, but is he actually wasteful?
Yeah.
I haven't thought about that. I was thinking always Jimenez as a good finisher, and he finishes chances. And so I hadn't considered him as a wasteful player. Like Bamford at Leeds, for example. We haven't talked about Leeds.
Yeah, true. I mean, I think Leeds' fixtures are so bad that I would probably happily watch them, but I do really like their wing backs. I think you can find a rotation where you can stick one on your bench and just hide them.
Yeah.
I'd be okay with starting one of the two wing backs there, but
I think let's stick Vinagre in at the moment, and then we will have 5.5 for each spot.
Yeah.
For a final decision for today. So we have a midfielder. And if we end up with Rich now, I'm going.
But the other option is Keita, Naby Keita.
You know what? I've actually had him in my team in a few tinkers. I don't think it's a bad shout.
No, I don't. I mean, of course, the problem being it restricts you from another Liverpool player in future. And I mean, like, we can do it now because we've got Brewster in, so we'd have to swap him for.
Oh, yeah, I'll do it immediately. But I mean, I get that point, but I think it will be less immediate this year. I mean, with so many other premium options that people will have.
Yeah.
I think there will be less triple ups this year than previous season, maybe.
Yeah. No, totally. I do agree with you. I think it's going to be a tough one to get to do that.
Yeah. So I don't hate that at all. And,
right, Richie, are you all right if we start to wrap it up? I've got my daughter's cross country to get to, so
yes. So final spot that would be Keita, and I'll put a 4.5 striker in.
Yep, just the cheap Villa guy.
Yeah.
Won't
So that would probably it for this first live stream. We had a few difficulties at the beginning, but we got there in the end.
Yeah. So Phillips just said Saka is the other one. Shame Arsenal's fixtures turn quickly. I do. Saka, if he starts, could be a great option. And Sean, for a lot of love for Keita on Twitter today, was going to ask you fellas your thoughts on him. Yeah, I don't know a huge amount, but he definitely, if he can, I think there was a really good article I read that if he starts with Henderson, the stats suggest that he will be quite an attacking option. If he starts with the other two, he tends to sit back. I read an article on one of the Liverpool makers about it, and so I think that's a big thing. But it's getting a run of starts that's the problem for Keita. So if Keita can get a run of starts and Henderson's fit and they're starting together, Keita could be an absolute gem. Really could be this.
At 5.5. I mean, if he gets to go into the attacking areas from the midfield three, I think he's the most with most attacking potential from those. So it's not a bad shout to start with, not at all.
No. I like it.
Yeah.
Well, thanks everyone for joining in.
Yes.
Great to have your input.
So we thought we may do one stream before the season starts, maybe two if we feel like it. We won't commit to anything at the moment, as we started with. It's now actually midnight where I am in Norway, and you have what time is it there?
10 a.m.
Exactly. So, doing this from across the world is not very convenient. But
I'll move back for you.
Yeah,
Rich.
For me, much love, Alex.
I'll do it for you, mate. I'll do it for you.
Yeah. So
okay.
I think we'll wrap this up. Thank you very much for joining the chat, everyone. We did like the turn up. We expected maybe 2 or 3, so I think we like 5 times that. So lovely, yeah. thanks to everyone for tuning in, and we'll get some announcements out on Twitter if we do this again.
Cheers, guys.
All right. Thank you very much.